Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, clouds of all ages, welcome to the Sanctum Forecast, the most entertaining and lively stream in crypto today. My name is Eno. I will be your host. I am the Chief Vibes Officer over at Sanctum. If you've attended this forecast before, you might be wondering what the hell this thing is. I had a custom mic made, so I'm actually really excited about this. My first time using it. We have a lot of things to cover today. And why are we here, right? Well, you might notice that I'm speaking at a little bit more of a lower volume. It's because there are people sleeping in this house, and I can't be a complete maniac like I usually am. But trust me, the vibes are still very, very high. So we're here to talk about all things in the Sanctosphere, right? So what is the Sanctosphere? Well, at the Sanctosphere, we talk about the most bullish news, right? We talk about the most delightful products that are being built in crypto, and of course, we talk about the Sanctum governance machine, right? How do we create high quality economic proposals that add value to Cloud as well as Sanctum? And of course, we're doing it all with the most earnest Cloud fam. I already see one of my favorite members of the Cloud fam, Fwag Ross. Hey, buddy, how are you? He always loves to type this. Let's effing Cloud. Always good to see you, brother. And also, I cloud you too. We're here to build Sanctum together as one big family. And trust me, we have a lot of things to talk about this week. And just, before we start, we definitely have some ground rules, some house rules. Danica, GM Cloud fam, it's always good to see you. Good. So the house rules are as such. Number one, we need you to spam the chat, right? This is no fun if everyone just stays quiet in the chat. Number two, we need to think long-term, right? A lot of people are obsessed with short-term price action, and I understand why. It's obviously the thing that you're paying attention to on most days. But the point being is that you can have the most fun if you pivot more towards thinking about the mid to long term, right? Like, how are we actually adding value to the ecosystem? And that is infinitely more fun than obsessing over price action. Number three, need you to be thoughtful and kind. All right. There's already so much negative energy out there in the space. Like, there's no reason for us to be contributing to all the noise. We need more signal. And last but not least, I really want you to have a good time. So we're going to get started with this forecast. And of course, public service announcement, we have 50 USDC up for grabs for the best forecast threads that are written on X. And this week's winner is Nick. I'm going to bring you on stage real quick. 3, 2, 1. Hey, Nick, you want to air bongo, air drums? This week's winner is Crypto John. Congratulations, Crypto John. Look, we're just really, really excited that you keep writing these threads. Seriously, you've been writing them for weeks, and so we just want to acknowledge how consistent you've been and how much energy you've put into writing these threads. And it was another banger this week. If you scan this QR code, then you can see some of Crypto John's work and see why we picked his thread. Was it the most liked out of all the submissions? No, right? But that's not really what was important. What was important was the consistent effort, and actually the quality of these threads have been improving week on week. Wouldn't you agree, Nick?
Yeah, it has been great. And I really do see a lot of consistency as well. And the quality has been improved. So if you need help, if you need you can just ask me for feedbacks and stuff. I occasionally do that in my DM. So if you do not know about that, so if you want to write a thread and you feel difficult in doing so, my DMs are open. Just ask me anything that you any help that you want to request for, and I'll get it done for you. And you can create threads easily and win the 50 USDC weekly prize.
And we also have a secret chat for all people who are interested in writing high quality threads. Not only do we provide timestamps, but we also provide the raw footage of the recordings so that you can create your own content with ease. So, it's really not that hard to write a Sanctum forecast thread. Just need a little bit of elbow grease, and we'll put you inside of the secret chat. Okay. Well, Nick, we'll be bringing you back on. But thank you so much for keeping an eye out on all the lovely forecast thread writers of the week. But it's not just Crypto John. Like we have some honorable mentions. Of course, the man, the myth, the legend, Molu. He's also working with Jupiter. That guy has his hands in a lot of pies. We also have Wisdom, who was a previous thread winner as well. And Nenye, I hope you keep writing. You've been writing really high quality threads. So thank you so much for keeping it consistent as well. For today's agenda, you guys already know the drill. Of course, we have another very, very special guest. So we're going to be speaking with a very close friend of mine for a big warm welcome. Now, I'm not going to spoil it just yet. And after a big warm welcome, we're going to be talking about all the latest and greatest updates to the Sanctosphere latest product, what's going on with staking, et cetera, and Futarchy. Holy shit. So there's a lot of stuff that happened this week. So we want to give you the team's point of view about like where we're going with CLOUD-004. Not going to spoil it, but for people who have been paying attention, you already know the results of our last vote. And last but not least, what to expect, right? So of course, without further ado, I would like to bring onto the stage a very, very close personal friend of mine. I'm very, very sad because I was supposed to be hanging out with him this week over in Sri Lanka, but we're going to bring him to the stage. 3, 2, 1. BM, how are you,
Hello,
brother?
everyone. Hi, everyone. Sending a really warm welcome from Sri Lanka former. It's being 30 degrees right now. I'm almost sweating literally every day. So happy to be on the podcast.
Yeah. Could we get W's in the chat for BM? Like I met BM. Where did we first meet? I feel like I've known you forever now. It's like you're
same.
everywhere.
Same, yeah. I don't know, man. Let's say we've met at our previous life somewhere, maybe like 3 generations before, yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, like I've seen you around. Like we've hung out quite a bit. There's also a funny story that I won't share here, but you know exactly what story I'm talking about.
Yes.
I'm not sharing it because it's shady. I'm not sharing it because it's like it makes us look like douchebags. But it's like
Yep.
But it wasn't our fault. It was we were both dragged to a certain store, and like we just had to be there. But obviously, BM, you've been working on AdraSOL. How do you pronounce it? It's AdraSOL or AdraSOL?
Yeah, we tend to accept any pronunciation. People even pronounce it like AdraSOL, AdraSOL. So we have like, I don't know, maybe over 100 different pronunciations we've collected. But the way normal people, like I would say team say it is like AdraSOL. So that's like the closer to the proper name, I would say.
Yeah.
Proper pronunciation,
right.
Yep.
So in addition to being an OG in the Solana space, I mean, you've been building AdraSOL for how long now?
I think we started like since 2024, early 2024, like January, I would say. The initial idea was drafted after Breakpoint 2023, but this is not my first endeavor on Solana. I've been on Solana since 2021, and I brought NFT lending as a first builder on Solana. So we introduced P2P lending with the Pawnshop Gnomies, which was later acquired by Bank's Frag team. And from that point forward, I'm the OG builder and enjoyer of everything happened on Solana. And even when Solana was 9 USDC per SOL, I was still here and I was enjoying all of the vibes happening. So yeah, I've been there and I'm still there. Yep.
I'm actually kind of loving this new meme. You're honestly like you should be using this everywhere. BMW.
Yep, that's so nice.
So could you tell us all about AdraSOL? Like, what exactly is it? I mean, it's super relevant to us because it's related to restaking. But please tell us. Also, you guys have gone through like a huge evolution of the company over time, right? So, like, would love to kind of hear about like where you've been and where you're going for AdraSOL.
Yep. Initially, we started our product as Jupiter ecosystem, building GLP leverage. However, during the spring last year, we've been approached by Solaire, and we've decided to build liquid restaking on top of Solaire as our second product, and that was a huge success for us. We've reached 30 million TVL quickly. We've distributed to airdrops. So the first airdrop was Sonic, and people absolutely loved it. They received a nice bunch of Sonic. Sonic price went up. It went over their calculation on the website, on the airdrop website. So like literally everyone in the community was super happy. And then we got Solaire airdrop as well, and literally it was like super. We've brought a lot of value to all of our users. And on top of that, we also introduced yield trading with RateX, which has not token yet. It's alpha, guys. We introduced loop scale. We did banks multiply. Yeah, I would say you have one entry with Solana or like Sonic Sol, S-Sol. You put it in our protocol, and then you earn multiple airdrops and engage within multiple DeFi ecosystem, which has not yet distributed the token, right? So that's really as simple as it is. And recently, we've announced something new with Sanctum, which is AdraSOL. And AdraSOL comes as our second product connected with staking and restaking. AdraSOL will play more than just LST in terms of the product, because we have our own validator, which will be connected also. It's an alpha that we haven't announced yet, but we've received our first delegation within the jittery staking ecosystem, and we will be announcing AdraSOL as operator within jittery staking ecosystem. So you will be seeing in the future announcement about Pragmatic, Jita, and Switchboard, and this all will be connected to AdraSOL. So huge alpha, guys.
Yeah. Well, first of all, congratulations. But there's like a lot to unpack there, right? So let's start from the very, very beginning, just like going back so we can have full context. So number one, you were building on top of Jupiter, and it was like JLP leverage or JLP vaults or JLP like a multiply product. Is that what the original kind of like idea for AdraSOL was?
Yep. So initial idea, we started as JLP multiply, and this was straight after the announcement of the JLP, right? So the announcement of the JLP came at the breakpoint 2023.
Yeah.
No one ever like experienced yet on Solana what is JLP and like how successful it can be. But we have a vision really early that JLP will not be volatile as much, and that's why it's quite profitable for the investors to use leverage on JLP, and without additional, like the risks are minimal for the multiply of the JLP, and that was our first product that we've launched.
Yeah, right. And then that's why your company is named after one of the moons of Jupiter, right? Like AdraSOL.
Yes. Yep.
But then like you quickly graduated to what has been kind of your blockbuster product, which is working in connection with Solaire, right, for restaking. And you said that you quickly got to like 30 million TVL. Like when did you launch that product?
We've started our products development during summer last year, and we were able to win the Coliseum Hackathon AVS track and literally build our product within, I would say, 2 weeks within the hackathon. And this was a crazy experience of working with your dev, Ina, by the way. Thanks for suggesting me. Thanks for suggesting me, Abby. So the cool story about how everything started. So there was a dev working with Ina on ICS, but when Ina moved away from ICS, he said, like, I have a dev. I'm like, oh, wow. So I need the dev right now to build this project for the hackathon. I'm like, all right, let me try him out. And we've been grinding like for 2 weeks nonstop, and then the result is 30 million TVL. So it's all so interconnected in the like deepest randomness, right? And like chance of getting specific developer at specific time, which keeps you building and getting like the first place, and then gets the 30 million TVL and like widely success with the airdrop distributed across thousands of users for Sonic and Solaire. Man, it's just yeah, if we look at if we're looking this forward, it's I think backwards. Sorry, if we look at this from summer last year to this point, it's been a crazy road. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's so interesting how life turns out sometimes,
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
you can never predict how the dots will all connect. And I'm just so glad that we were able to find a home for Abi, and that all
Yeah.
his work for you has been successful. And now obviously you have your own validator. And many companies attempt to do this, but a lot of people kind of prefer I think kind of delegating to an existing validator. You have chosen actually to run your own validator, which is very commendable. And so you've claimed your LST, which is AdraSOL. And now this latest announcement, which there aren't full details on because it's not publicly announced, but seems like you are getting some delegated SOL from the Jito restaking program. And that's going to be in combination with Fragmetric and Jito, and who else is involved in that program? Solaire?
And Switchboard.
Switchboard. Got it right. It was Switchboard. So what is Switchboard doing over there? Are they just providing the Oracle price, or what exactly is Switchboard doing?
So we need to start off first of all. What is Jito restaking, right? Jito restaking provides an infrastructure for protocols to use security of Solana staking, right? Distributed staking. And
Sure.
Switchboard as an Oracle need to have access to the distributed layer of validators, right? So in this way, they can utilize the stake, which can secure the operations and to secure the whole operations within the product, and provide additional benefits for using this. And in this way, they are part of the so-called NCN. The first NCN that was launched on Jito was Tip Router, and the second NCN coming is Switchboard.
I see. Understood.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on growing your stake. That's going to be great for you. And I think you said that in addition to the traditional LST yield, which would be MEV, emissions, priority fees, you said there's additional yield, or did I misunderstand that?
Yeah, it's alpha, so keep tuned on this. We're gonna announce it within a couple of weeks.
Okay, I see. No worries. We'll keep our eyes on it, and maybe we can come back later to tell us all about where this additional yield is coming from. But I am very glad that you're working with us to issue your LST, and wish you all the luck in the future. Is there anything else you want to say before for all the people?
Yeah, I would say that if your life seems hard right now, or if you think that something is not working well, just keep grinding, because as I said, multiple things helped me just because of the chance, just because I was keep working, I never gave up, and things are just popping out when you try really hard. So yeah, if you feel that something is really you are stopped now, just keep grinding, guys. Whenever you be, whatever you do, just keep working up and grinding up, and life will throw you a good thing tomorrow or day after tomorrow or next week.
Yeah. James says hello, by the way. We all love James from Drift, obviously. And then Nate says beautiful advice. I totally agree. What's that phrase? It's opportunity is luck is just opportunity, right? Positioning yourself for that. And some people are better at getting lucky than others. And if you aren't trying to create those opportunities for yourselves, you might look at lucky people and then say to yourself oh, that guy's just lucky. But you can create your own luck, and you create your own luck by just grinding, making connections in the space, and putting yourself out there. And if you don't do those three fundamental things, your life will just continue to be unlucky. So you truly can create your own luck, and it just starts with, keeping at it even when shit is hard.
Yep, good words. Completely agree with you.
Okay,
and thanks for having me. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Had an amazing time, and always it's a pleasure to speak with my best friend in crypto.
Oh, dude, by the way, I finally got a Sonic jacket.
Oh, really? Congrats,
Yeah,
man. Yes.
yeah. So Sonic has
Yes.
this like really legendary jacket that was really popular in Hong Kong, and then BM got one, and I was super jealous. I was so jealous. I was like, damn, that's a really nice jacket. But then when I was in Japan last week, they brought like 5 of them, and I was like, oh, can I please just one? And they're like, sure.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
so next time I
Yeah.
see you, I think we'll be wearing matching jackets. We'll look like a boy band.
Yeah. I'm probably gonna bring it again to the Istanbul for the Crossroads because this jacket is quality is amazing, man. It's like everyone telling me where did you get this jacket? And no one even realized that it's just like crypto merch. Like people think that's like a proper design jacket, you know? Yeah, it's so good.
It is like a designer jacket, so feel very glad to have that merch. But BMW's in the chat. Thank you so much for agreeing to do. For context, guys, I literally just messaged because we had another big warm welcome planned today that just didn't work out, and BM, saved the day. Literally I was like, hey man, bro, you just launched AdraSOL with us. Do you mind joining? And he's like, of course. And so now he's here sweating his balls off over in the really hot 3rd degree Sri Lanka weather. So thank you so much for coming, brother. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you. And thanks guys for listening.
All right. Take it easy, BM.
Bye-bye.
We'll talk to you soon. Yes.
Bye-bye.
Always love talking to BM. He's a very close personal friend, and I'm glad to see all his success over at AdraSOL. Obviously, he has created his own luck in the space, and I think he's the embodiment of the type of positive attitude that we love here over at Sanctum. For those of you who are just tuning in, welcome again to the Sanctum Forecast, the most educational and entertaining stream in crypto. If you're wondering why I'm much more quiet than I usually am, it's because I have roommates who are sleeping around here, so I have to, be a little polite and not be a complete psychopath. But trust me, on the inside, I am literally screaming. And now it is time for we got to fix this typo. But now it's time for my favorite section of the forecast, Lightning Strike. And we have 45.6 million cloud staked, which is well over 20% of the circulating supply of cloud. Every single week, we're seeing more and more cloud staked. So really appreciate that, Cloud fam. So if you scan this QR code, you can go into our staking UI and, of course, obviously, stake your cloud in return for sCloud. And when you get sCloud, obviously, you're accruing staking score over time. And just another update, obviously the Camino vaults that we voted for CLOUD-003 are absolutely working. Nothing's changed from last week. The old caps that we had were 2.5 million TVL and 1 million TVL respectively for INF Sol as well as Bonk Sol INF. We raised the caps to 3.5 million for INF Sol, and we raised the cap for Bonk Sol INF to 2 million. The INF Sol vault is full, guys. It's completely full. It's been full since last week. The Bonk Sol INF vault, I think is out of the 2 million, I believe it's at 1.1 million or 1.2 million deposited in those vaults. So obviously both of those vaults have been extremely successful. I'd like to clear up just maybe some misinformation or some FUD that's been circulating around these vaults. I think that there's this incorrect perception that the amount of incentives that we are paying for this liquidity is being spent faster because we've increased the vaults. That is literally not what is happening. The monthly expenditure of cloud that we were giving for the INF Sol vaults is the same. So what that means is that for the exact same amount of cloud, we actually are getting much more liquidity. So what that looks like is more bang for your buck. But that being said, I'll be honest with you, I think we're slightly overpaying for the liquidity. So what that means is that if we were to increase the caps for the INF Sol vault from 3.5 million to let's say 5 million, the total yield for the capital would decrease, right? But then it would be on par with our competitors. You look at the other vaults, I think we're paying close to 17% APY. And our the other vaults are paying close to 12, 13%. And so that's what I mean by we're overpaying. We're literally paying more for this liquidity than other vaults. We wouldn't, I don't know if we need an additional 4%, you know, to incentivize people to deposit liquidity. But hey, you know, like happy to provide the highest yielding vault on well, not the highest, but like one of the higher yielding vaults on Camino. I'm just saying that, like, and last time that we raised the caps, people got some people got upset and they're like, "This isn't what was written in the proposal." I don't really understand what their problem is, and the reason why I don't understand what their problem is because the whole purpose of the proposal was to deepen INF liquidity, right? Like we've said this over and over again. Like that's not a secret, right? Like that was the whole point, right? So if I can expend the same amount of cloud and get more INF liquidity for it, that is strictly a good thing. And even now, like we are overpaying in the sense that, like, if you look at other vaults, like we could be paying out like a lower yield and probably get even more INF liquidity for the same amount of benefits. But again, we're a little careful about not offending our community, and we would want to have a discussion about that if we were to do that. But just letting you know that the Camino vaults have been wildly successful. Moving on, of course, this is a tweet that went viral that I am a little excited about. We are kind of in discussions with Zeus. And like, what if we were to do something called like ZSOL, where the yield is actually paid out in ZBTC, right? If you're wondering what ZBTC is and how it's different from, like, let's say WBTC. So ZBTC is completely permissionless. Like you do not need to go to a centralized exchange or like an OTC deal with a market maker in order to get your BTC, right? Like you could permissionlessly, without KYC, without KYB, go from ZBTC into like pure BTC, right? But basically, what you would do is that you would auto DCA into ZBTC for the yield. So essentially, you'd be holding SOL and then getting BTC rewards. So I thought that was very neat. A lot of people have been talking about it. I would actually love to get your guys' thoughts on this. Coletta, hi. Good to see you here, buddy. Hi, guys. Hey. So, Coletta, I have your merch, okay? It's like sitting in my suitcase outside. So if some of you are wondering what the hell I'm talking about, Coletta won a small contest that we ran a couple of weeks back. We were basically looking for the most lit commenter, and like Coletta was spamming the chat like an absolute madman. I wish he would continue to spam the chat because he's very good at it. And the winner of that contest was going to win backpack merch. It took me a while to get it. We had to align schedules. I am currently in Singapore, but was visiting, Tokyo and Japan last few weeks actually. And finally got to visit the backpack offices. And so, Coletta, I have your merch. I promise I will send it to you. I have your address. Don't worry, okay? It is coming your way. A little busy right now, so a little hard to get to the post office, but letting you know that when I make a promise, I keep my promise, and we'll get that merch to you. So if you guys, might want to win some giveaways later, spam the chat, please, and thank you. So yeah, I think I'm not the only person who thinks that ZSOL would be kind of sick, right? So to basically get SOL exposure and then, get ZBTC as a reward. That sounds super interesting. So just wanted to share that. And if you guys have any strong feelings or want to perhaps, I don't know, want to see that partnership move forward, then please let me know. And we're happy to continue that discussion with the Zeus team. Okay, Futarchy updates. Woo! We got a lot of shit to cover this week. So first things first, some positive news. CloudFam is smashing through records again. So last week I told you that we had 1,648 unique voters for Futarchy. That number is now completely outdated. After the latest Futarchy vote, CLOUD-004, we're at 1,812 unique voters. We've added, over 100 new voters to Futarchy, which I think is quite impressive, especially for a proposal like this. So just major congratulations. Our participation at this point is probably about 10x more of the next biggest protocol using Futarchy, which would be MetaDAO itself. So my point being is that like we have way more voters for Futarchy than like in a single vote. Like I'm pretty sure we basically smash all the other protocols put together. If you were to take all the protocols, add their unique voters together, we would still be murdering them, right? By a factor of 2 or 3. So major congratulations to the Cloud fam for voting and sharing your opinions. Now, the latest proposal that we put up was CLOUD-004, which is like, should Sanctum build a Sanctum mobile app, codenamed Wonder? Now, we've done our homework. Like, as you know, if you were on the stream here last week, we went through all the feedback that we received, right? Like the positive feedback, the negative feedback, the neutral feedback. And quite frankly, we thought that this proposal was on track to pass. But what ended up happening over the weekend and concluding on Monday is that it failed. Should Sanctum build a Sanctum mobile app? Wonder. It was a fail, which was, it was really interesting to see the activity on this proposal, because at first, like for the first 24 hours, the price diverged between the pass and the fail markets substantially, meaning that like the pass market was trading way higher than the fail market. So like by the end of day one, I was feeling very comfortable that this would pass. But then what happened over the last couple of days, like on the last 2 days of the vote, is that slowly people started to sell. There was a big sell-off, so people could sell. You know what? This would just be easier if I were to share my screen. Give me 1 second. Okay. New project. Metadao.phi. Okay. They have just changed their website because there's actually a new proposal. Like they're creating like a fund that's everyone is They've changed their UI literally in the last hour. So now I cannot navigate this website. Okay, that is interesting. Yeah, but basically they're launching a new fund. I know you're not supposed to call it a fund because regulatory reasons, but that's essentially what it is. It's a fund governed by Futarchy. Anyways, I'm getting sidetracked over here. But essentially, what the price action looked like was pass went up and then fail went down, and it looked very good in 24 hours. And then there was a deep sell-off of pass. And the reason why there was a deep sell-off of pass is people were arbitraging, right? Like obviously the price of the pass market was like almost like 10% or maybe like closer to 8% higher than spot price. And so that kind of made sense that like, okay, this has been too positively traded. And so we now need to bring it back a little closer to spot. And then it just kept dropping, right? And we do know what the reasons for that are. And we're going to be covering all of that. So what did we learn? We learned a lot from this proposal. So this is the graphic that we showed you last week, right? Because like we do look at all the feedback on Twitter, on Telegram, on Discord, as well as Sanctum research. So like we do very, very thorough reviews of what everyone thinks of CLOUD-004, 003. Like we make sure we know what the community is thinking. And so what we wrote was that like, okay, there's like 49 in favor, 12 opposed, and 20 neutral, right? So you look at this type of data and you think to yourself like, oh, this is a shoo-in. This proposal is definitely going to pass. But there was this is the original graphic that I used last week where I categorized this as neutral feedback, like cool, but we need more details. Here is my realization after this vote. This was actually opposition feedback. This was not neutral, right? Like cool, but we need more details. Like we did kind of think that the tone of the comments was quite neutral. But quite frankly, if you have a binary choice between pass or fail, if you were feeling this way, like wow, before the proposal went live, so this is during the discussion period. So during the discussion/deliberation period, like if you were feeling neutral, right? When it's time to vote, how do you think you're going to vote? Positive or negative? If you're saying, cool, we need more details. Well, a lot of those neutral people flipped, to opposition. So that's essentially what happened here. And so like really the correct graphic is going to be like, 49 were in favor, but 32 were opposed. And I guess the opposed had much more capital. So there was only about $49,000 in volume traded on this proposal, which is actually quite big. If you consider other Futarchy proposals done by other DAOs, like we do have some of the highest volume. Not the biggest, but like very, very up there in terms of volume. But it's clear that the in favor crowd actually did not have enough capital to win the day. Another kind of funny inside story here is that like, because 49,000 volume is not that much. We had an internal discussion of whether or not like we should just buy the pass and like get it to pass. But we ultimately decided against that. Number one, because like, that's not how, sure, like as a personal, like personally, yeah, yes, I bought pass. But my point is that like, we wouldn't want to just like whale into, because that's not what Futarchy is about, right? Like Futarchy is about trading on information and respecting what the market thinks. And even when the voting started, it was pretty clear how people felt about it. How people felt was like this proposal is too vague. It's way too vague. It doesn't have enough details, and so therefore, like, it's hard for me to. People were worried about like how much of, of an opportunity cost this is. I feel like that we discussed this in deep length, but literally only 2 people out of a 20-person team would be exploring, Sanctum Mobile. But still, people had felt a little uneasy about that. And also, they just wanted to know what the app is, because quite frankly, we don't know what the app is. We have ideas, like we have broad ideas, but no ideas that we're willing to commit to and talk about publicly, because like we don't, because that's, frankly, how mobile apps work. Like you have to evolve the concept and iterate over time. But yeah, like we did not articulate a firm vision for what Wonder should be. And so the market responded essentially by voting it down. Now, here's something else I really did not anticipate, is that like after the vote failed, there was a lot of discussion online. Like I thought that it was just going to be a failed, like after it was very clear that it would fail, I thought that people would just stop talking about it, right? And then like people would just move on. That's not what happened. It actually kind of blew up a little bit, and like even Totally ended up weighing in here. But some of the comments, I love this snarky comment from Vibu. He said, if Steve Jobs had asked Dowd to fund the iPod in 2001, the Dow would have voted for buybacks. I think, which is funny, but I don't think that's necessarily true. I think that I truly think that we did the best job that we could for the experience that we have. But it's very clear that we have to go back to the drawing board, right? So like we have to present a much clearer vision for what Wonder will be, right? And as there's this exchange, which is like 46K shouldn't be enough to sway the decision of a potential the app for $1 billion protocol could have had. And then Tej, said like, did you bid the pass? And CEO of Bridge has just found out about the proposal from retweet, and Tej is like the same. Okay, so like what this tells me is that there are people who are still excited about the app and wanted it to pass, but didn't even know that the vote was going on. So I think that we need to do a much better job of, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like if you look at the numbers, I'll respond to that in a second. But yeah, I just like, obviously in terms of the pure numbers, like we're murdering every single other protocol that's using Futarchy, but still it's clear that we could do a much better job getting people to be aware of the vote, because I think that there are people who would love to vote on this, so they're just not aware. Let's see, what are these other comments from Coletta? I was checking, and about 40% of the stakers voted for CLOUD-004. Is that correct? The ASR might be better than I expected. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I haven't done that math myself, but it wouldn't surprise me if quite a few people who are staking are not voting on Futarchy, and it could just be an awareness issue. So I think that there's more work that we need to do, and like the more voters, the more accurate the market, right? And then it says DAO was a mistake. I don't know what you're talking about here, because we don't really have a DAO in that way. But I do think I think it was like the feedback that we got was very high quality, right? Like I'm thinking about Squid. I'm also thinking about James Hanley. I'm both of them work at Drift, and I'm close with both of them. And I know Squid voted no. James, I am unsure, but that's not really the point, right? Like the point is people made it very clear that they liked the contours of the idea, but like, what the fuck is it, right? And I think that's super valid feedback. Also going like Tolly's tweet weighing in on this whole situation. He said like, it's easy to say no to every spending decision because the likely outcome is failure, yet doing nothing is also death. Futarchy needs to prove itself on the risk it took on, not the risk avoided. I agree with this, but the caveat that I would add here is that I don't think that we did a thorough enough job in our proposal outlining the risk to reward, right? Like, I think that, quite frankly, I think the public perceptions of the risk of the Wonder app are severely overblown. Like, there's really not that much risk, in my personal opinion. This is just my personal opinion. I wouldn't even say this is Sanctum's opinion. This is my personal opinion, that I think that the risks that people mentioned, which is opportunity cost, are completely overblown. It's like literally 2 people out of a 20-person team. Like, there are plenty of other teams that with smaller teams that work on more initiatives. And we're not moving away from our core business. It's not like we're switching to a mobile app. It's like we wanted 2 people to explore, right? And we're not even using community funds. You know what I mean? Like we're using revenue that we earn from our LSTs. So like I personally think that the risk was the risk perception was completely overblown, and we did not articulate a vision that talked about the rewards of like why this makes sense clearly enough. And I think that's our failure, right? Like to be clear, I don't think that the perception that people have is inaccurate, because the reason why they feel that way is because like we did not articulate well enough. Like we tried, and I think one of the issues here is that the proposal was quite light in details, but like obviously we add a lot of context on the forecast, which is like this stream, and we clip the stream. We have obviously the weekly summaries that are done by community, but that's just not enough, right? Like the proposal itself, like I'd say the majority of voters probably just get their exposure to the proposal through the proposal itself. So like obviously, I just kind of feel like we could have done a much better job on communicating what exactly the risks were and what the rewards are. And I think those are very, like, again, the risks were overestimated, and the rewards were not clearly articulated. So even though I think that totally is correct, I still think that there's a lot of comms that we have to do on our side and some soul searching as well. And then this was a very interesting comment, which is like, what if the market is wrong though? Many of the best products and companies were not well understood by the market at the time, but were successful because the founder, team, etc., knew what their customers wanted better than traders did, or like what the market priced it in as. And in response to that, Mr. Rinko, who actually works at Coliseum, and Coliseum obviously is an investor in MetaDAO, so they're very invested in Futarchy in general. But he said, there's always a chance of this, but there's nothing stopping teams from submitting the same proposal twice or even multiple times. As we've seen with MetaDAO proposals, the market appreciates when teams take feedback seriously and iterate. Saw this with the Launchpad and Thea props. So what is he talking about here? Well, some of you may know that MetaDAO today, actually probably right now, in either 13 minutes or just about an hour ago. I'm unsure of my time zones. But yeah, they're launching Mountain with Mountain DAO, right? And that is an investment fund. It's a launch pad that is completely governed by Futarchy, right? And the first version of that proposal, which was called Futardio, failed miserably, right? And what was the feedback at the time? Exactly the same as what happened to us, okay? People were like, what the hell is this launch pad? What is the benefit to MetaDAO? The opportunity cost is too high. What are the risks and what are the benefits? It was literally the exact same feedback of, I think the risks are quite high and the benefits have not been clearly articulated, so I'm just going to vote no. But literally on the second time, where they took the market feedback and they were very clear about, okay, here's the market positioning. This is why we need this. This is a much superior model for teams to raise funds. It also ensures 100% transparency of the funds, because all the funds are directed using Futarchy votes. And once they had a much better fleshed out proposal, the market rewarded that with a pass. So to be very clear, we're not giving up on Wonder. Like, we're not, to respect the market, right? Like, we're not just going to start working on it. Like, we're not complete, jerks. Like, we will respect the market. But I think that at the very least, we're allowed to, like, okay, the feedback is that this proposal was too squishy. So we're obviously going to be focused on core, because that's what the majority of the team is focused on, is our core business. But we will be, and we're not going to be rushing this, by the way. It's like, we want to do Sanctum Mobile, but it's not like mission critical. We have to do it now or we'll fail. Like, there are other things in the company that we have to work on that are mission critical, and if we don't do it now, we might fail. So that takes priority. But we totally heard the market feedback, which is that risks seem high, even though that's not true, in my personal opinion, and the benefits unknown. So, and this proposal was too squishy. So, and again, we could have just dumped like 20K into the market and like force passed. But the reason why we didn't do this is because we felt that the feedback that we got from the market was very valid, right? Like, I wish more of these people would comment like during the discussion period, as opposed to like after the vote, because like once the voting has started, it's like, dang man, like if you had just mentioned this in the discussion period, we would have reworked the proposal for voting, right? But can't cry over spilled milk. But that's our takeaway, is that we are going to resubmit later. Way later. We're just going to take our time. We're going to think about it, talk to some advisors who are much more familiar with mobile, some names you actually might know. Hornet, I gotta spill the beans over there. And make sure that we have a pretty solid game plan that everyone can get behind. And if it doesn't pass again, then we might have to rework the proposal again. But I feel pretty confident that, once bitten, twice shy. So we're going to put a lot of thought into like what this app could be and what the benefits are, and be very clear about the risk as well as the market positioning. Right. Coletta. So Coletta has been pushing for this, right? Which is like, what about the native INF and Sanctum LST borrow lending proposal? Let's push it. It's a simple, proven tool that works and generates a lot of revenue. Coletta, I'll be honest with you. That's I don't control the devs' time, right? The devs, we have a very clear product roadmap. And so like we could put that up for a proposal, and like that is a discussion that we can have. But I'll just be very frank. It's like it's putting a lot of pressure on the team to like change a roadmap that's been negotiated and talked about literally every day to discuss this new initiative. And like we have things on the roadmap right now that FP is articulating a strategy. I'm going to bring Nick on here. 3, 2, 1. Hey, Nick. So Nick, you actually heard the plan today, right? Like it's actually the first time saying like internally, even like we've heard like a very clearly articulated plan and the Solana value stack and where Sanctum fits in. That's correct, right? Like you were there in the room, literally.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't think that we're opposed to a borrowing lending proposal, right? But like, can we, Coletta, I love you, but no, I'm not giving you alpha like that. Sure, can you send me the roadmap on Telegram? I love you too, but no. We're gonna let FP do that, and he's gonna share it with everybody. But you get my point though, right? It's a very well thought out, like here's the Solana economy value stack, and here's how Solana fits into that. And this has taken like weeks, if not months, for the core team to really figure out. And mobile is a part of that, but that's like super long term. It's not anything in the immediate future. There are other things that we have to work on right now. But yeah, definitely don't want to tip off our competitors. So we're just going to keep that a little internal for now. And at some point in time, FP will articulate and share this vision with everybody. So yeah, Nick, you can confirm this exists, right? Like a strategy document with like how exactly we're positioning ourselves. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for verifying this. I'm not a liar. Okay. So how's the team feeling? Honestly, we're not worried at all. I think that we would have been super worried if people were like, we hate this app. This is just like a horrible idea. But that's really not the feedback. The feedback that we got I had a lot of private conversations. And by the way, a lot of people messaged me saying, are you okay? How's the team doing? Are you guys feeling? I'm like, guys, relax. We're fine, right? We're not freaking out over here. We actually thought that the feedback that we got was super valid, which was that this proposal is too squishy and high risk for uncertain reward. So it's like, okay, let's just go back to the drawing board and think about it. That's no problem. So yeah, that's the next step. The next step is just to go back to the drawing board, and we're going to take our time. We're not trying to force this down your throats. We want to be intentional about it. We want to think it through. And maybe at the end of that soul searching, we go like, you know what, never mind. We don't really want to do mobile anymore. But at the very least, like let's just go back, think about it, and whenever there's an update, we'll let you know. But we just we just had our first failure with Futarchy, and we're still okay. It's like, I don't know. I feel like some people, when they messaged me, they just expected me to be like, fuck Futarchy, it doesn't work. Like this didn't pass. Like I wanted it to pass. And it's like, don't get me wrong. Like I'm disappointed, right? But I also think the feedback that we got was super valid. And so like, I'm not upset at all. It just means like, try again. And like, first of all, number one, figure out why people voted no. And I did a lot of homework since Monday to figure out like why people voted no. And clearly it was just because the proposal was too squishy. So now the question is like, okay, what detail do we need to add to the proposal? And like, there have been a lot of people in the ecosystem who have reached out to us and said like, look, if you need us to review the proposal and help you add details that people might be curious about, whether it be, who exactly is this app for? What's the feature set? Like, what's the moat? Jay says, dropping in to say hi to the Cloud fam. We miss Jay very much. Jay has been super sick recently, but still handling some of the most sensitive and important things at Core and at Sanctum. So I hope he gets better very soon. And everyone says hi, Jay. WJ, we all love Jay. W's in the chat for Jay. So we're going to go back to the drawing board with CLOUD-004. How are we feeling? We are feeling A-okay. This is all just a part of the process. And also, there's precedent for this, right? Like Futarchy, again, they had a launchpad, and the first version of the launchpad just failed, right? And the feedback was like not precise enough, like we need more details. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take our time. We're going to digest. We're going to think about it. I actually want to give a very special thank you to James Hanley. James wrote God, it was an essay about all the things that we should add to the next proposal. And James, I'll tell you again, like I'm going to add 90% of the things that you suggest. I mean, probably all of it, but like just to hedge here, like probably 90% of all the suggestions to be more specific on the proposal. So W James and WJ, double J. Is only Eno going to Solana Crossroads? So yeah, I will be hosting the technical stage over at Crossroads, but I don't know if Jay. I mean, Jay is so busy, and FP needs to keep his head on vision. So yeah, I am unsure who else is coming to Crossroads. Like maybe we get Jesse to come. Okay, what to expect? As always, we have 50 USDC on the table for the forecast. So like, please get your submissions in. And we love you all. And I guess other things to kind of convey here is that it has been a lot of soul searching for Sanctum over the last few weeks and or months. And there's like so many announcements. It's so weird to sit on announcements that I've known for months, but it's also like just not the right timing. And when we announce, you will understand why it was not the right timing. But there's a lot of stuff that we're sitting on that we're just like, do we announce it at Crossroads? Do we announce it at Accelerate? Like, what are we doing here, right? But there will be a time very soon where we're announcing a bunch of stuff and moving very quickly. And don't want to tip our hand too much, but we'll be revealing the strategy once we have things more shipped and coded. But right now, we are focused on the fundamentals and improving a lot of processes and getting the vision very, very tight. I'm sure that we'll have another proposal, probably like CLOUD-004 or something up very soon. Unsure if it'll be related to Wonder, quite frankly. I think for Wonder, we want to take our sweet time with that. There's no need to rush that at all. And yeah, that's about it for the forecast this week, everybody. We actually kept it under an hour, which I think is quite impressive. I think that Nick must be very happy. Nick, I'm bringing you back on. Nick, are you happy that we kept it under an hour today?
Yeah, definitely super happy.
Because Nick has to timestamp all of these. Okay, so first of all, cut. Okay, forecast is over. This is just us hanging out time. But yeah, like obviously, like, yeah, it's like it's a lot of work to timestamp all of these forecasts. Yeah, you have to do it, and you usually like finish at like 2 or 3 a.m., which I feel really sorry about. Sorry, buddy. But that's the work that you have to do to make sure that we have as many threaders as possible. Writing threads about the forecast.
Yeah, definitely 55 minutes. That's what the best I could ask for, to be honest.
Yeah,
really nice.
Ooh, we have a lot of comments up in the. So like so there's an issue with Streamflow where the comments don't show up in the bottom, like they populate on the top. It's really hard to explain, but it's like now I'm seeing a bunch of comments that I didn't see before. So let's see. The idea is at a very early stage, you pitched nothing, basically. The concept needs to be more clear. I don't disagree at all. Should we expect a second vote for Wonder? Absolutely, you should, right? But to be very clear, it's like we're not trying to force it down the market's throat. If we were trying to force it down your throat, honestly, with like 46K worth of volume in that market, like we could have done it this time, right? But we decided to respect the market's opinion, and the market's opinion was, this is a squishy proposal. So yes, you should expect a second vote for Wonder, but not anytime soon. Like, and it's not like top priority for us. We have literally other shit that's like way more important. So we're gonna focus on that. But obviously, in the back of our minds, like while we're having lunch, like while we're thinking, it's like, what might mobile be, right? So we'll be much more clear about it in the future. Doing your homework is a good move. W, I really like your comments, by the way. You ask a lot of good questions. Doing your homework is a good move. Is the roadmap something that can be shared to some extent? No, we can't. I don't want to prematurely share a roadmap that might slightly change. It'll introduce confusion that's not even necessary. So it's like we will share, but once things are more real and like we have committed internally, but now it's just a matter of actually just executing and doing the work. And so like once we've executed, I'd say to a sufficient degree, then we will totally share what our thoughts are on the roadmap. But I just want to be really clear here. Like we're not trying to,
we don't want to make empty promises. So we want to make sure that what we shared is what we can do. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah. W, please be more clear about what is going to be next time. Absolutely. And I think Solana retweeted the stream because now the numbers are pumping. We got like over. Did Solana retweet the stream? All right.
Okay, refresh. 30 more minutes to go. Let's
50 start. Okay, should we do the? I mean, it's like we're literally double, tripling, quadrupling our viewer count. Do we just run this whole fucking forecast all over again? Cloud believe. Yes.
believe.
Okay, what else? Any other feedback? Cloud, you motherfuckers. I love you, Foie Gras. You're amazing. Giancarlo is like, G, for real, like, you are very insightful. Like, I didn't, like, I think you have a very different, like, Discord persona to, like your Twitter persona. Like, you honestly are top notch, man. I love you. And IBRL, Mabuhay Filipinas. Nick is we're having a company offsite, right? It's you're here in Singapore with us. Like we have a lot of the core devs, and we're just like aligning everybody around certain plans that we have. Can't be too specific about that, but it's your first time meeting like the entire team IRL. Like I can't believe I've only been here for 2 months. Like it feels like I've been here for a year.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, how's it been for you?
Yeah, it's great. Like I guess this is what home feels like. So yeah, great working with everyone here and happy to work on Sanctum. So if you guys are happy to have me, I'm happy to have you as well. Like really appreciate all the feedback. Please keep them coming. Like don't keep them on your in your hearts, like in your mind. Like we won't hear it in that case. So like I've been getting DMs as well, like on the feedback on CLOUD-004. So yeah, DM us if you don't feel like talking about it publicly, and I'll put it in the sentiment report, and then we can go through the analysis, and we'll get back to the team as well, so everyone knows what the Cloud fam are thinking, basically.
Yeah, no cloud left behind. Trust me. Like we literally do listen to all your feedback and read all your feedback, and some of it, quite frankly, is not valid, but other times it is super valid. So, what was valid this time around for CLOUD-004? Should Sanctum build the Sanctum mobile app, aka codenamed Wonder? The feedback was, this proposal is too squishy. So I've just been repeating myself for the last hour. So I think I'll stop. It's such a shame, because like now we finally got like a an audience, but the hour is up, guys. We just covered everything, So yeah, like we're gonna be here in Singapore at least for the next few days. Core team is all kind of flown over here. I flew in from Japan, and then Nick flew in from Malaysia, if I'm not mistaken. We have other people. I can't say where they flew in without kind of doxing them, but yeah, we have other people who flew from places.
Yes.
You had your first team lunch. They were nice to you.
Yeah, it was great. Like the vibes were top notch and great lunch. Yeah, great place as well. Like
I did not go because I was busy grinding. And I famously do not like eating lunch, and I also don't like eating breakfast. I just like dinner. But that's a me thing. I obviously eat. I mean, look at me. I'm a thick boy. But I like my dinner. How many meals a day do you eat, Nick?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I used to eat more than 5 meals a day.
Oh, right, because you were a fitness geek. Right. So you're doing that like kind of.
Yeah, that was a crazy time. Right now, yeah, sometimes one as well when I'm grinding.
That's all you have time for. Yeah.
Yeah, and I forgot about eating, and I only eat dinner. Yeah, that's not good.
Okay, everyone, thank you very much for joining this week's edition of the Sanctum Forecast, the most entertaining and fun and educational stream in crypto. We do this every Wednesday at 1400 hours UTC. That's 1400 UTC every week on Wednesdays. Can't wait to see y'all again. And again, if you're wondering how we're doing just fine. It's not that big of a deal. All right. See you guys later. Adios.
See you.
Whew, good day.